Hey everybody, this is Alex, and I'm here to talk to you about Destiny. Right now, I am downloading the Destiny update, and as you can see, it'll be a while. It's not that big of an update, about 2 gigabytes on PlayStation 4, but there's a queue to start the update, and I didn't get on till almost 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Time, and I'm going to be in the queue for a little while. Then I should have about 5-10 minutes of downloading, depending on what download speed I get from PlayStation Network. So I am sitting here ready to play Destiny. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is look through the patch notes for Destiny today. So with no further ado, ta-da! The patch notes for the Destiny update today, December 13th, 2016, 2.5.0. The one about the Dawning. New quests are available in the tower from Eva Levante, Amanda Holliday, and Commander Zavala. A new record book is available offering new rewards for the winter season. Fixed an issue where some players did not receive the Student of History trophy/achievement or Sigil of Young Wolf emblem for attuning all of the Rise of Iron artifacts. Fixed an issue where some players were unable to complete the Echoes of the Past quest. None of those were problems for me, but I'm glad that those were all fixed. Activities, Sparrow Racing. Yeah. I really like Sparrow Racing. It's not really Destiny to me, however, it lets me stay in the Destiny gameverse. It gives me a big change from the game. Frankly, I wish it came back more often. I don't know if it has to be monthly like Iron Banner, but I would like to see it at least quarterly, maybe as part of every holiday event. That would be nice. But in any case, the idea is you get a really different game experience inside of Destiny, and that's a good thing. You can stay with Destiny and still do something really different from running strikes or playing the raid over and over. All right, 2 new race tracks. I'm looking forward to those. Bounties and quests are available from Amanda Holliday. Yay, another place to run in the tower. I really like that you can pick up quests from the different characters. I really like the tower environment. I do think that things are a little bit too far apart. I think it would be nicer if, generally speaking, the base sprint speed of Guardians was significantly increased. We don't need to make anything else faster. If the base sprint speed is faster, like 35% faster, that would actually save quite a lot of time just running to vendors to pick up stuff. All right. SRL license quest progress has been reset and new rewards have been added. Circuit racing gear obtained from the SRL license quest now has light and can be infused. This is a big one. A lot of your old SRL gear, which I have some, cannot be infused. So it'll give you an advantage early on in racing, but as you progress and reach higher ranks, you're going to start seeing more and more of the new players and the Christmas noobs, which are coming, will have the SRL gear from year 3, and that will be infusible. SRL reputation has been reset to rank 0. SRL players can obtain an SRL helmet from Amanda Holliday at rank 3. Players can obtain a Treasure of the Dawning from Amanda Holliday at rank 5. SRL racing suits earned from the SRL masters have light and can be infused. SRL can be launched by the weekly featured playlist in the Director. This is an interesting point. If you race, you will, and you're using your year 2 racing gear, it has no light. So your new SRL racing gear will have light levels in the in the low 200s probably. I think with my helmet and my racing mark, I think I'm around 180, 190 light if I have all the rest of my racing gear on. I have to double check. So this gives you an incentive to start without all of your old racing gear, or at least with minimizing it. And I probably will do that. I'll have the helmet, I'll have the racing mark, so that'll be a good start. SRL can be launched by the weekly featured playlist in the director. That means your first 3 Sparrow races per week are going to give you 10 legendary marks. That's great news. Crucible bounties and Jolly Holiday quests can no longer be completed in Sparrow Racing. Aww. This was actually a really good one. The Chaperone in particular is the one that is targeted by the Jolly Holiday quest, and that is a weapon that's really difficult for a lot of players to obtain because of something I am against in quest, exotic quest progression, which is negative progression. Bungie has an elitist side inside of it, and that elitist side is about, it's elitist, and they really make it difficult to obtain certain pieces of gear, and this requires you use a specific weapon and that you maintain a very high KD ratio with that specific weapon. Really, it's a bad thing for most players, and it's really hard to achieve. I think you have to maintain a 1.5 KD in order to always make positive progression. And I'm a pretty good player, but sometimes I go negative. That's the reality. I've seen Encouch go negative. Everyone goes negative sometimes. I've seen Triple Rec go negative. Everyone. So if you're not an absolutely superior player and don't have a dose of luck, it can be almost impossible to progress in that bounty. So I do wish that they would remove negative progression from all aspects of all Crucible bounties especially, but generally speaking, I'd like to see it gone from every bounty. Just raise the targets. Instead of insisting that you have so many consecutive kills or whatever, don't allow negative progression. Maybe raise the goal you have to hit, but don't ever go backwards when you fail. That's it. All right, moving on. That's a topic for a whole other video. I could probably talk for 20 minutes about that. Moving on. Strikes in the Siva Crisis playlist, Siva Crisis Heroic playlist, and Weekly Nightfall now award medals and feature team scoring. This is going to be kind of like the Prison of the Elders challenge mode, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's not really going to change what I do, but it will give me a little bit more hook into doing it and talking about it with other people. Acquire new bounties from Zavala and the bounty tracker to complete in any scored strike. So there's going to be a weekly bounty set that is going to impact what we can achieve, and this is where we're going to be able to, completing these bounties is where we're going to be able to get things like the Icebreaker drop. 3 strikes have been reprised. We know all about this. Nexus, Shadow Thief, and Will of Crota. The big one that I think is going to freak a lot of people out is Omnigull, the Will of Crota. When you go into the final room with Omnigull, she locks the doors behind you, so you can't run in and out of that room to shoot at her. You go in the room, and you're in the room fighting all those ads. They did make it a little bit easier in that when she screams and a new wave of ads spawns, Omnigull disappears. Then you have time to deal with the ads before Omnigull comes back. But really, that's going to be a new kind of hectic, which Bungie likes in their game. Siva Crisis and Siva Crisis Heroic playlists now include all platform available strikes. So you're going to have more variety in your strikes. This is absolutely good news. Dead Guardians are now automatically respawn at the end of strikes. That should help when you're playing with randoms and you died killing the boss and they decide to teabag you for 2 minutes instead of reviving you and letting you get loot. Fix an issue with Pathfinder and cause enemies to not properly exit their spawn locations. This prevents enemies in the Will of Crota strike from getting stuck in their doorways. This probably will also affect that bug in the Archon's Forge, where enemies just hang out in the doorway for a long time before they show up, and you can shoot them, but nothing happens. Let's see, I hope so. Reduce burn effects on incoming damage done to Guardians. Outgoing damage by Guardians is unchanged. Interesting. Fixed an issue in Fallen Saber where the Ultra Shank teleported after its entrance performance. That's good. It's good for it to do what it's supposed to. This only affected me maybe 1 out of every 10 times that I did that strike, but it was annoying every time. Fix an issue with a Horde chest on Echo Chamber could become stuck behind an invisible barrier. I have never been able to open the Horde chest on Echo Chamber because it has always been stuck behind an invisible barrier. Fix an issue with the strike streak was not applying in the Siva Crisis Heroic playlist correctly. Thank you. Increased time for presenting Archon's Forge offerings to the encounter starting from 5 to 10 seconds. I think they're saying they're delaying the time before you can go up there and insert a new offering. Iron Lord bounties requiring Archon's Forge completions now influence the type of Forge offerings that drop. Forge offerings will be more likely to drop with the combatant type to match the Iron Lord bounties into players' inventory. Thank you. This just means that instead of getting, 5 Vandals on Shank Week, you're going to start getting Shanks. So that's going to be good. And they're reducing the shields for bosses and perfected Shank offerings. This hasn't been a problem for me or the people I play with, but I do know that some people are having a tough time completing perfected offerings because of the shield in the Shanks. There are 3 Shanks that spawn, I think it is. I don't know. There's always tons of effects going on. I'm pretty sure it's 3, but seriously, whenever I'm doing it, if you ever watch me, my screen is just full of fire and void and everything, and it's hard to see. And they all have a lot of shields, and if you don't maintain damage on them, of course the shields respawn. The shields are really tough. I think that they need to balance health versus shield a little bit more. You don't want shields to make up the majority of the health of a boss. All right, collections. Circuit and Momentum SRL gear sets have been added to the holiday collection for players who have earned these items. Circuit Momentum Racing gear from the collection has light and can be infused. Yes, so that means that I can grab my old Circuit Momentum SRL gear from the kiosk and from the holiday kiosk over there by the emblems near the speaker. So that'll be nice. They'll probably have just a small amount of light, like 3. So a lot of the stuff I have will be replaced, and I will be adding light to them pretty shortly. Ghost and Deviled Ghost have been added to the holiday collection for players who have obtained these items. Never got them, despite playing a ton of the Festival of Lost. 2 new emotes, Proposal and Roa There, can be withdrawn by everyone from the emote collection. Oh, they gave those to people who wanted to propose, and I don't know what Woa There is from, but it's a free. They gave us 2 free emotes. That's nice. Vendor Zur sells exotic shards. He no longer sells weapon ornaments. Zur sells a larger stack of 10 heavy ammo synths. So I'll go over that when Zur arrives in my weekly Zur video. By the way, my download's at 91%. Eververse, stock of new items. Treasures of the Dawning are now available and contain new sparrows, ornaments, horns, armor, and consumables. Players can receive 1 free treasure each week by completing their first weekly heroic strike. A Dawning set from the Treasures of the Dawning in 1 class grants the EV53 Glimmer Gold Sparrow and the Sunglow Shaner. So if you get 1 complete set of armor for one of your characters, you're going to get the Glimmer Gold Sparrow and Sunglow Shader. That's nice. But right now it looks like for most players it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to get a complete set of Treasures of the Dawning armor without spending money at the emote kiosk. That's too bad. I have problems with the emote kiosk. I think that it should be an a la carte thing where every item should be available for purchase on the emotes in the kiosk, and you should just pay a fixed amount of silver. Like, okay, that chest armor is 100 silver, or whatever it is. And it should all drop lightless. And it should drop statless, and whatever you infuse into it, it should take over those stats. So I can sacrifice another legendary armor item, and it'll go into that cosmetic item, and I'll have the stats from the legendary armor item in the cosmetic item. And that's how it should work. That way you get what you want. It's not random. All right. Rise of Iron, the new emotes. Winter emotes for sale and Rise of Iron Fall emotes have been added to the direct purchase emote rotation on Eververse. So you are able to do direct purchase of the old emotes. They should just do that for everything all the time. Silver Dust Store has been added to the tower. It's a collection that can be found in the tower between Eververse and the Postmaster. This collection sells a selection of past season items for direct purchase with Silver Dust, including exotic weapon ornaments. Silver Dust cost to apply exotic weapon ornaments has been removed. Silver Dust has been removed from Radiant Treasures, but can still be obtained by dismantling exotic weapon ornaments. They're telling me that there's no way for me to get Silver Dust other than buying exotic weapon ornaments with Silver Dust. And I don't think that's fair. It'd be nice if I had a way to buy Silver Dust. Most of this is cosmetic stuff, so I'm okay with that. But, well, we'll see how that works out. Weekly Radiant Treasures, the first weekly PvP match completion instead of the weekly playlist. Okay. Characters are level 41 now automatically convert uncommon engrams to weapon and armor materials on pickup. Yes! All right, I'm actually downloading. So it says 4 minutes. We'll see if that's true. New bounties are available from Petra to assist players in gaining Queen's Wrath reputation. Good, because I'm tired of slowly grinding that forward. Class items obtained for Queen's Wrath packages now correctly display their stats. Does that mean they weren't before? Fixed an issue with Year 3 faction class items were not properly contributing to faction-specific quests. Good. I'm getting ready to do more of those quests with my Titan and Hunter. They're the last exotics I'm chasing are the class are Dead Orbit for my Titan, Future War Cult for my Hunter, and New Monarchy for both of them. So that's the only thing I need at this stage, outside of the new dawning exotics. Wormspore from the Vanguard Quartermaster. Good, because I basically don't go to the Dreadnought anymore. I never really liked the Dreadnought, even though it was a beautiful design. I just never liked it, and so I don't go now. Brother Vance now offers materials exchanged for passage coins and motes of light. I'm probably going to tell you, for most players, this is going to be a bad deal. For people who stay in Trials of Osiris day in and day out, this will be a better deal, especially with the passage coins. Skeleton keys have been adjusted. Skeleton key drop rates have been increased in the Siva Crisis and the various playlists listed. Players will now receive a skeleton key for their first account Nightfall clear per week. So you're going to get a guaranteed skeleton key once per week. That's nice. Subclass quest class items can now be repurchased from the speaker once earned. Good. You might be able to get better rolls that way. Legendary weapons obtained from the Gunsmith Rank 2 quest can now be repurchased from the Gunsmith. So all of those wonderful, like Stillpiercer and Susanoo and Amobius, none of which I actually use, but all of which are actually kind of cool, can be repurchased from the Gunsmith. So you probably have to spend legendary marks on them, but that'll be fine. I see now that my download has slowed down. That's fine. I'll deal with that. 9 minutes. You get to listen to me for another 9 minutes as I go through this. When I'm done with this, I'm going to go offline so that I can have this as a distinct video and share that out. Moving on. Crucible maps. Fix an issue where players could become stuck in Vex geometry on the Burning Shrine. I have never seen this happen, but I'm glad that they're fixing the problems whenever. Wait, this happened to me last time. Burn and Shine was the Trials map. I'm not really a big Trials player, but that did happen to me one match. All right, game types. Added ability for players to wave off heavy ammo if everyone in the match does the wave emote in the first 30 seconds of a round. That's great. If you don't know what they're talking about, a lot of players, especially towards the top end of the skill groupings, like to avoid heavy ammo because they feel like it's a no skill free kill kind of a weapon. And traditionally what players have done just on their honor has been they wave off the heavy ammo and then they don't use, they by agreement they don't use it when it spawns. Well, in this case, if you do the wave emote, the heavy ammo just won't spawn. And this fixed the issue where people wave off the heavy and then some guy gets desperate or forgets and picks the heavy up and uses it anyway, which is extremely unfair. Fixed an issue where the end of round countdown could play twice if the round tied in elimination. Never happened to me, but I've seen it on other people's streams. So, good. Inferno Rift and Inferno Zone control modes added to private matches. That's great. I like Inferno modes because I feel that visual scanning is more important. However, the reason radars are so essential in Destiny is because most people don't have positional sound in their headsets and the field of view is kind of constricted. Supremacy score to win is now 120. Rumble Supremacy score to win is now 40. Supremacy Mercy spread is now 20-60, down from 30-90. That's good. Slight reduction of super energy in all Supremacy modes. These adjustments to Supremacy are all good. It's probably still not enough to make me excited about playing Supremacy. All right. Icarus has been removed from the Rift playlist. Okay. Fixed an issue where Supremacy mode variants were not counting towards record book completion. In other words, most of the Supremacy I ever played, they were Iron Banner and they didn't count towards the record book. So I have way more than 10 wins, but I've only ever played, because I hate Supremacy, I've only ever played 2 matches. Well, I don't know. I've only ever won 2 matches outside of the Iron Banner. So it'll be nice to have the variants count because I like Mayhem. And although I'm not likely to play Supremacy at all, I'm much more likely to play Supremacy Mayhem rather than any of the normal modes. Bounties. Iron Banner Iron Marathon now correctly awards 10 points for a win instead of 15. This is going to make that bounty grind a little bit longer because now you need a minimum of 10 wins instead of 7. For what it's worth, I'm not bothered by this. Frankly, the weekly Shaxx bounties should go for 10 wins as well. Right now they're set for 7 wins. Perhaps someone who's a weaker PvP player might feel differently, but I'm not that strong. I have, on average, about a 55% win ratio, which puts me in the top 30%, I think. And, the spread is not that big. There's very few people who win every game or people who lose every game. It's just going to be a lot better if we have just a little bit longer grind for that. Iron Banner support. Iron support no longer credits you with assists that any nearby player earns. This is going to suck. I don't think they should have fixed that. I think that was a good one. Because Iron support, it's about any nearby player. It's about your team. I think that what they probably should have done is left that mechanic alone and raised the number. Usually it's the first bounty I complete. Just raise the target. Make it so that there are more assists to get, but leave it the way it was. It'll be beautiful that way. Fixed an issue where the highest score Crucible bounty did not work in Supremacy. Yes, that was one reason I hated Supremacy. Fixing that and all the other things together still are not going to make me excited about playing Supremacy. Lord Shaxx no longer requires players to complete the mountaintop before offering his weekly Crucible bounties. That is excellent. I like the mountaintop, but it was a kind of a grindy thing, and if they had introduced the mountaintop way back in year one, it would have made more sense as a thing for new players. But for a lot of us, getting a 56 light green armor piece, come on, that's just an insult, really, for the effort of Crucible. Increase the drop rate for Trials of Osiris vanity items. That's going to be the cloaks, the class items. So that'll be nice. Possibly it'll be the ornaments. Increased drop rate for vanity items and Iron Banner. Same thing. Trials of Osiris Shadow Devoted was not obtainable. Good to fix things. Completing a daily featured Crucible activity now rewards 3 passage coins, up from 1. So that's good. I don't know. I think that might be only once per week, or once per day. Completing a weekly featured Crucible activity now rewards 3 passage coins 3 times per week. So there you go. Every week now, without playing Trials, you're going to be able to get a guaranteed, it's 21 and 9 is 30 passage coins. People should have piles of passage coins available. You should be able to play Trials, and you should all start with all your passage favors and bounties and stuff picked. Added stuff to the Crucible drops. So all those things: Crimson Cell, Sugar Cell, Crimson Crest, Rose Bright, and Valentine. And some Year 2 legendary Crucible weapons: Red Spectre, Anal Shadow, Ash Factory, Ice Luna, and Party Crasher. So these were taken out for Rise of Iron, and now they're going back in. Generally speaking, this is good. Ice Luna and Party Crasher are both beloved. And it should, increasing the number of Party Crashers, which is not quite as good as Matador, should decrease the number of Matadors. Party Crasher requires you to close the distance a little bit more, but it shoots a tiny bit faster. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Fix an issue where the Ephrodite Grimoire card was not awarded upon viewing the Iron Banner Ephrodite cinematic. If you already viewed this cinematic, the card will be awarded. So many of us will be getting this as soon as we log in. Fix an issue with the Beauty and Destruction Grimoire card was not being rewarded for completing the Beauty and Destruction quest line. That's the Year 3 Gjallarhorn. So if you have the Year 3 Gjallarhorn, the card will be rewarded upon entering orbit if you don't have it already. I think I have Ephrodite, but not Beauty and Destruction. We'll find out soon. Fix an issue with the Grimoire cards associated with the Kvostov manual pages were not being awarded, including the final page. This happens to me pretty much every time I go through and load a different character. I get a bunch of notifications that Grimoire is being awarded, but it doesn't stick. All right, so let's see if they stay stuck now. That's what I hope they fixed. Moving the mic. All right, hopefully that'll sound better. Fixed an issue where the Grimoire cards for Siva clusters were awarding Grimoire score for each character who picked them up. All right, so the problem is that we were getting Grimoire cards. That whole thing with separate Grimoire for Siva clusters per character seems to have been an error, and hopefully this will set it. We'll see how that behaves, but if this is correct, your grimoire should be the same for all characters as soon as you're able to get into this. All right, moving on. Hey, that's it. We've reached the end. All right, well, that's going to be that. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to put up my information screen again. Well, first I'll show you. PlayStation Network is being slow. I'm still got a lot of going on to go on. 20 minutes left. Hopefully that'll speed up when I stop streaming. And that has been the Destiny update for the Dawning number 2.5.0. And I have been Tirgaia. You can reach me on Twitter at Tirgaia. You can follow me here on Twitch at twitch.tv. And my YouTube channel can be found by searching for Tirgaia on YouTube. Mostly it's my Xur videos. I'm hoping to increase the variety of content, but for the time being, it is what it is. Hey, let me put that card up instead of just talking about it. There I am, Twitter at Tirgaia, and Twitch. The address is on screen. Of course, you're probably watching me on Twitch. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope that this has helped some of you, make some sense of the release notes for the day. And I will be logging back on whenever Destiny is loaded. Peace.